Okay. Hello, thank you so much for joining. Sorry about that. My computer had a little technical glitch. All righty. Let's start today's practice by coming into a comfortable seated position. Maybe coming down to your chair with your back straight and against the back of your chair. Maybe you're coming seated on the ground. Maybe you have a prop like a block or pillow under your hips. You can keep your legs crossed or you can stretch them out long. Anything that feels good as you start to settle in, but we keep our spine as straight as we can. As we start to settle in here, maybe you allow your eyes to close, or maybe you simply soften your gaze, allowing your vision to start to go fuzzy. And then notice your breathing. Does it feel like it's short and staccato? Does it feel like it's long and lengthy? Does it feel like it's a little labored, due to some chest congestion or nasal congestion? Just simply taking a moment to notice how your breath is feeling, the quality of your breath today. And with some intentional inhales and exhales, can you start to slow it down? And breathe through the mouth or the nose, whichever feels more comfortable in your body. And then begin to take a moment to let your mind travel through the physical space of your body, noticing sensations. It could be good sensations or negative sensations or neutral sensations. But taking a moment just to check in, take those intentional breaths as you acknowledge what's present, what we're holding on to in our bodies in this moment. Then we'll start to get into our breathing exercise, focusing on the function of the breath for a few cycles. Today, we're going to work with the three-part breath. On the three-part breath, we break our inhale up into three distinct parts before exhaling all the air out in one smooth exhale. So as we start our next inhale, we take a little bit of air into our lungs and then we pause for just a moment, imagining maybe that all the air that you just took in is going to the bottom of your lung capacity. And then after that short pause, we'll take in another drink of air and pause. This time imagining it filling the rib cage portion of our lungs. And then finally, we inhale to the top of our lungs capacity, maybe even feeling or noticing the collarbones start to rise. And once you've filled up to the point where you can't put any more air in your lungs, that's when we take that smooth, steady exhale, allowing the air to reverse its cycle, top, middle, bottom, in one smooth transaction, letting all the air out until you can't exhale any further. And once you're completely empty, we immediately start the three-part cycle again. Inhale, pause, inhale, pause, inhale to completion, smooth, steady exhale. And take that for just a few cycles on your own, letting your mind focus on those functions, the step by step of building it up and then tearing it down. We'll take one more cycle just like that. Once you reach the bottom of that exhale, allow your breath to find its natural rhythm once more without altering it or changing it in any way. But knowing throughout our practice, you can come back to that three-part breath as a mental focus. Today, we're going to talk about the walls that we build around our hearts, around ourselves, around our spaces. We try to keep out fear of the future sometimes, or maybe it's a painful memory from the past, or even just simply the risk of deep connection with another. But rather than keeping out what we don't think we want in our heart, in our lives, perhaps these feelings are trapped inside. And what we resist and repress sticks there, gets stuck inside of us, trying to be felt. In fact, what these feelings need to be is felt so that they can start to make their way out of us. So let us be careful not to build walls around our hearts. We never know what we're trapping inside or what we're keeping out. We can let our hearts be open and ready to feel what needs to be felt in order to be free. So as we take these few last breaths here of our opening time of meditation, sense the walls that you've built around your heart or around your space. Notice what you have been trying to keep out. And as you breathe, begin to open your heart to allowing. Beautiful job. We'll take a moment to offer ourselves a little bit of gratitude. We've come here today, maybe with an open heart, or maybe just a willingness to be here. Offer yourself that gratitude, heart hug, so to speak. And then as you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes. And we'll flutter the eyes open and start to add a little gentle movement to our practice. So to start things off, we're going to come into a ball position. If you're seated in the chair, you have a couple of options. Bring one knee up at a time. You're feeling super froggy, you can bring your hips forward, your shoulders back, and bring both knees up. Or another option is to widen the knees and draw your torso down. You're seated on the ground. Let's go ahead and roll down to our backs, hugging our knees in towards our torso, and maybe going on a little rock and roll left to right or along the spine. If you want to find movement from your ball in the chair, that's also a welcome option. Great job. With your next exhale, make sure both feet are hip distance apart and flat on the floor. In the floor position, you'll be in a constructive rest and scrunch your heels up as close to your hips as possible. You're seated in the chair. You're going to come into a seated mountain with your torso off of the back of the chair, sitting on the edge, feet flat, hip distance apart, knees bent. We're going to let our hands come down by our sides. And then let's start to warm up our abdominals and spine. As we do, we'll reach our right hand down either towards the floor or towards our hip or heels. And then inhale to come back through center and take it over to the right. We're taking that penguin stretch here, waddling like a penguin left to right at your own pace. Using your spine and abdominals in this movement. If you're on the floor, you can let your shoulders relax and then come up. But for more of a challenge, keep your shoulders off the mat as you hinge from left to right. Great job. Go ahead and come back to your straight spine. Give your shoulders a rest for just a moment, letting them fall away from the ears. And then let's come into yogi bicycles. So if you're on the mat or no matter where you're at, circle your hands so they rest behind your head and your elbows are out wide. As we inhale, we're going to lift that right knee up towards our torso and then let the left elbow circle our torso towards that knee. It doesn't have to touch, but allow it to come towards it and then open back up. And then we're going to take that left to right, those slow yoga bicycles, left to right. Go ahead and balance out, making sure whichever side you started on, you're finishing on the opposite side. And then exhale, release the hands down by your sides. From here, we're going to come into our version of tabletop. If you're in the chair, we're going to come to almost standing. And maybe use your high or even your seat as your low option. And we'll make sure our wrists and shoulders are in line. Our knees have a bend in them. Our spine is flat. And our feet are directly under our hips. You're taking it from the floor. Mostly the same alignment, but you're going to be on your knees with your toes tucked here. No matter where you are, keep your spine straight for just another breath. And then with your exhale, begin to allow your belly to fall and your gaze to lift, coming into a cow pose. On your inhale, round through the spine, tucking chin towards your torso, pressing into the hands to round through the shoulders and spine, up towards the ceiling. And then take that with your own breath, moving between cat and cow. Noticing the movement of the spine. Great job. Go ahead and find that straight spine. With our next inhale, let the left arm come out alongside the ear. And then let the right leg start to extend behind you. You can keep those toes tucked, or for more of a challenge, maybe lift them a little or a lot off the floor. Being mindful that you're not dumping into the hips or shoulders, but you're keeping your torso parallel with the ground. And then with an exhale, let's round our elbow towards our knee under our body. And take this for just a few cycles on your own. Inhaling to extend long, exhaling to round and curl. Great job. Last time on this side. Extension on your inhale. Exhale, drop both hands to their previous location, and then allow that extended leg come directly down behind you for a calf stretch. So it's still extended long. Start to press through the heel. You can either hold it here if that feels good, or if it feels better, you can roll, rock and roll over the ball of your foot, coming in and out of that calf stretch. Go ahead and inhale, bring that knee back into your tabletop, but we're going to stick with that same leg. And with our inhale, we're going to bring a bend to the knee and then lift it out to the left side, like you're a puppy around a fire hydrant. And then exhale to bring it back in. Take 3 more lifts, just like that. Great job. Staying on that same side, keeping that same bend in your knee, or inhale and donkey kick it back behind us for 3 cycles of breath. Great job. Go ahead and let that leg come down. Pick any movement your body is calling as we set up for side 2. The arm comes alongside the ear. Opposite leg stretches back. Taking our spinal balance here. Keeping our torso engaged. Exhale to round. Inhale to extend. Taking it at your pace. Great job. Next, exhale, bring both hands to the mat. Go ahead and tuck that extended toe so that you start to come into your calf stretch. Finding stillness or movement. Now with our next inhale, we bring that leg back into neutral, but we bend the knee and start to take it out to the side. Inhale it back. 2 more just like that. Keeping it bent, but bringing it through neutral. And then donkey kick it back. Great job. Come back into your tabletop variation. From here, we'll get a little twist happening in our spine. As we inhale, we'll lift our left hand out to the side and back around, opening up through the torso. And with an exhale, we'll pull it through, thread the needle. And then take this as a pulse. So inhale to open up. Exhale to reach it through and pull those fingers as far as you can. Take it at your own pace for just a few cycles. After you next open, exhale to release both hands to your space. And let's take it second side. Inhale up and open. Exhale to thread the needle. Pulse it at your own pace. Beautiful job. Next time it's open, bring it into your tabletop variation. And from here, we'll come up to standing, getting there in our own time, in our own way. We'll come into a mountain pose. Standing up tall, feeling our feet firmly planted. And then let's inhale and circle those arms up overhead. Reach it tall. And then keeping both hands up, or maybe bringing one to your hip or your prop, we'll lean to the right. Inhale back through center. Exhale, take your lean to the left. Inhale back through center. Their exhale will cactus the arms, pulling the heart forward, squeezing those shoulder blades, maybe lifting the gaze, and then slowly twist at the hips towards your right. Beautiful job. Inhale, tall mountain, arms lift. Exhale, slow cactus of the arms. Intentional turn to the left. Inhale to bring it back through center, tall mountain. Exhale, swan dive it, hinge into your forward fold, letting your hands rest on the prop of your choice or maybe even your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Figure 7, the gaze stays down, the core is engaged. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Bring a generous bend into your knees, and as you let the hips start to hinge down towards the floor, we root to rise, but we're going to stop in chair pose. Holding it for just a moment. You can have those hands up high. You can have them out in front of you. You can hold on to a prop for a little added balance. You're doing great. Inhale, tall mountain. Beautiful job. With an exhale, let's bring our hands through heart center, releasing them by our hips. From here, we're going to move into a downward facing dog position. Maybe you're using the floor, maybe you're using the wall, maybe you're using, again, either high or low on your chair. If you're using your chair, maybe have it up against a surface, keeping it from moving. We're going to bring our hands shoulder distance apart. Begin to walk those hips back and pedal through the legs as you drip your head in between your arms. And then start to settle into a little bit of stillness. Take one big 3-part breath here. And then with our next inhale, begin to let the right foot come behind you a little bit more. You can keep those toes on the ground, or you could lift that foot up for 3-legged dog. And then with our inhale, we're going to bring our knee towards our nose, rounding through the spine. Inhale to send it back out long. Exhale, bring that right knee towards your right elbow this time. And then send it back long. Now cross it in front of the body over towards the left elbow. Send it back long. Beautiful job. Bring both feet to the floor in your downward facing dog. Take any movement, or maybe give your wrist a break if you'd like to. And then meet me back in downward dog when you're ready to take that 3-part breath. Next inhale, left foot extends back or stays on the floor and lifts up. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, extend it long. Same elbow. Extend it back. Cross the body to the opposite elbow. Extend it back. Beautiful job. Step it back into downward dog. One last 3-part breath here. And then look back towards your feet. Begin to walk your hands into your forward fold. Maybe grab opposite elbows or keep your hands right where they are, but begin to rock from side to side for a rag doll, letting your head and neck be loose. Your jaw sway from side to side, or any other movements your body needs here. Great job. With our exhale, we'll release our hands to our previous location. If we grab opposite elbows, we'll start to sink the hips, bend the knees, root to rise, chair pose of choice. We're doing great. Now from here, we're going to take that cactus twist at the hips towards the right, keeping our chair and our lower body. Inhale through center. Exhale, cactus twist to the left. Inhale through center. Inhale, big rise up to tall mountain. Exhale, bring it down through a prayer and meet me in mountain. Alrighty, from here, let's step the left foot back for warrior one. Toes are going to be slightly out, the heel towards the back of our space. Our hips are pointing forward, and we're finding a generous bend in that front knee. As we squeeze our thigh muscles together, we're engaging our core, stacking head, shoulders, hips in that straight spine position. Your hands can stay on a prop, come to a prayer, or maybe they come alongside the ears as you lift them up high into the air. Beautiful job. Our next inhale, go ahead and straighten both legs. And then exhale, hinge and forward fold, pyramid pose. We're stretching over that front leg. You can have a straight leg or a little bend in the knee as you hinge over. And your hands can rest on a prop on either side of that front foot. Start to bend through that front knee, root to rise. Warrior one. And then let's open out into a warrior two, letting the toes come to the side, the hips come to the side. We still have a generous bend in the knee. And then we send the hands front to back in a T. Beautiful job. With your next inhale, reverse your warrior, taking your back hand to the hip or down the back leg, maybe circling that front hand up overhead. As we exhale, we're going to pinwheel the arms. Maybe hand or elbow comes to the front leg or to a prop as we take our side angle. Inhale to bring it back to a warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Maybe hop the back one in, just one footprint. As we set up for a triangle pose, we imagine a string pulling that front fingertips as front forward as we can. And when we can't reach it any further forward, begin to hinge. That front hand can rest on a prop or on your leg. Work the arms from both hands straight in a line. Imagining that back hip is pulling towards the wall behind you. Inhale to reverse your triangle, taking back hand down the back leg or on the hip. Front hand circles overhead. Inhale to bring that back hand to meet the front hand overhead. And then as you exhale, hinge over that front leg, kind of like a pyramid pose, both hands on your prop. And then we're going to revolve or twist our triangle by keeping the opposite hand planted and then circle that top hand, same as the front leg, up towards the ceiling. Great job. Let both hands come to frame the front foot, either on a prop of your choice or the floor or your leg. Begin to allow that back heel to lift, that back knee to bend. We're in a high lunge here. Keep that same hand planted. Twist for lunge twist, lifting that right hand up. Great job. Bring both hands back down and then hop that back foot in a little or a lot. Coming into your forward fold. Take a 3-part breath. Noticing if it changes in this slightly constricted position. Bend the knees, sink the hips, and this time take a slow roll coming all the way up to mountain. Beautiful flow today. Let's take that on the other side. So we'll step right foot back this time as we come into our warrior one. Hips are forward. We're hitting all those same points as we hit the first time. And maybe we're lifting hands or keeping them securely on a prop. You're doing great. Feel that strength you're building. Just like you build a wall, one brick at a time, we're building our strength here so that instead of building the walls, we can tear them down. Inhale to straighten that front leg. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. We're in our pyramid pose. Noticing how it feels on this side. Inhale to bend the front knee, rising back up to warrior one. Exhale, open it out, warrior two. Feel your breath. You're doing great. Inhale to reverse our warrior. Exhale to pinwheel the arms, side angle. Inhale, rise up. Straighten that front leg, hop the back one in for triangle pose. Pull your front fingertips forward. And then hinge, stacking wrist and shoulders in that straight line. Even if you're at a bit of an angle because of your prop. Pull that back hip behind you. Inhale to reverse your triangle. Exhale, both hands rise. Turn your hips towards that front leg. Let your hands circle, finding a prop of your choice. We're going to keep that opposite hand on the prop as we twist and revolve our triangle. Working to straighten those arms from hand to hand along the spine. Beautiful job. Let both hands come to rest on your prop. And then start to lift that back heel and maybe step it back. Bend through the both knees. Find that low or high lunge of your choice. We're going to let that opposite hand stay on our prop. Twist the same hand as the front leg overhead. Great job. Both hands come to frame the front foot and then hop that back foot in. Take just a moment in your forward fold and then bend the knees, sink the hips, roll it up, mountain pose. Beautiful job. Let's go ahead and come into a little bit of a balance challenge here. So you're always welcome to have your wall or a chair nearby, or maybe use your props. We're going to stand in mountain pose. Start to lift the right heel. Maybe the toes stay on the ground, or maybe the toes start to lift off the ground, knee coming up to hip height. We'll then open the knee out to the side, just like in that fire hydrant pose we took earlier, and then start to bring the foot over towards the standing leg for tree pose. You can always keep your foot on the floor. You can bring it anywhere along the leg, up to as high as feels good for you. You could even bring a prop under your foot for just a little more balance. You can keep your hands on a prop like the wall or the chair. Bring them to your hips, a prayer, or maybe you grow some branches of your choice. Find a spot on the floor that's not moving. Take just a few breaths there. Maybe bring a smile to your lips if you're finding balance a little hard today. Sometimes the walls are crumbly, and that's okay. Great job. Exhale, release your hands to a stable place, and then bring your knee back in front of you, and then cycle the foot down to the floor. Feel free to take any movements that you'd like here as we set up for side two. We start to lift that left heel, maybe bringing the toes off the ground, opening the knee to the side, bringing the foot over to the other leg, but keep a bend in that standing leg. And then as you're ready, branches of your choice. Now they could be different branches than you did before. You could maybe even be like a tree blowing in the breeze, adding a little bit of a dance here if you'd like. Find what feels good for you and breathe there for just a moment. Beautiful job. Last breath here. Exhale to release your hands, finding stability. Release the foot, bring the knee in front of you, and like a bicycle, set it down. Great job. Feel free to take any movements that your body is needing. And from here, we're going to find a figure four or pigeon of our choice. So if you're using the chair, you come seated at the edge of your chair, and you'll work your right ankle maybe up towards the knee, maybe up onto the block. Could also leave your foot just simply on the floor, letting that knee open up to the side. If you're on the ground and you'd like to take a pigeon pose, I'd come into a tabletop, bringing that right knee forward, the left foot across, and start to send the left leg back. And if pigeon is not in your practice, then maybe come over onto your back or onto your seat and take a seated figure four from the ground. Wherever we're at, that right knee is opening. We're flexing through the right ankle. You can lengthen your spine. You can start to work that shin a little closer to your heart by moving your torso closer to it. You're doing a beautiful job. And if you're taking that pigeon, maybe you allow your torso to come down, resting towards the leg in a sleeping pigeon. We'll take about 3 more breaths here. Maybe they're even that 3 heart breath. Done with that last one. Go ahead and release the bind of that right ankle. Feel free to windshield wiper the knees left to right. And then when you're ready, meet me in either pigeon or figure four on the other side. Again, flexing through left ankle, letting that left knee fall open. And you can have that foot either high or low. Bring a bend into the opposite knee, drawing it a little closer to your heart. And straighten out the leg, giving yourself a little bit more space. And you're always welcome to start to drop the heart closer to your shin, giving yourself that deeper hip opening. Beautiful job. Inhale, let's bring it back to a straight spine as we release the bind with the left foot. Again, maybe taking some windshield wipers just to reset the hips. Great job. Go ahead and find a little bit of stillness as we set up for a boat toe touches. You're sitting in the chair, we're going to keep our hips forward, but allow our shoulders come back. And you can always add a pillow for just a little bit more support. If you're seated on the floor, go ahead and bring your hands behind you so your fingers press away from you. Your knees are bent in a constructive rest-like position, feet flat on the floor. Now we can either start with the feet on the floor, or for more of a challenge, lift both feet up. But once one by one, we're going to tap our toes left to right. Lifting one at a time. Feeling a little bit of a scrunch in the abdominals that we've been working on today. You're doing great. Make sure wherever you're at, you're going to finish up on the second side. Go ahead and let both feet come down to the ground. All righty, from here, we're going to take this boat into a Mason's twist. Now, I like having something in between my hands for a Mason's twist, but it's not necessary. You can simply grab your hands and point your pointer fingers. That makes a great option as well. So we come back into that constructive rest position, and then we lift our shoulders just a little bit off of whatever prop, whether it's the floor or the chair, and then twist at the hips, letting your hands or the prop come down by the right side, through center, and then over to the left side. Take it left to right at your own pace, going fast or slow. And if you're on the mat and you want just a little bit more challenge, maybe you lift those toes off the ground, but it's not necessary. You're doing great. All right, balance out, making sure to end on the second side. Come back through center. If you're on the mat, go ahead and roll down all the way flat into a constructive rest. And then circle your hands, let them rest under your lower back and upper hips and glutes, giving you just a little bit more support here. As we're going to take a scissor kick. If you're in the chair, circle your hands down to grab the sides of the chair. Now you can keep your legs bent, or you can start to straighten them out. We're going to lift one leg up. And then once it's up, we're going to switch sides. Take it at your own pace, lifting and lowering one leg at a time. Take it as slow as you can. This is one of those. Slower you're going, the more work it's taking. Doing great. One more on each side. Both feet come down. Maybe windshield wiper the knees, left to right. Great job. Our next inhale, let's bring our right knee in towards our torso and just take a few ankle rolls. We're starting to allow our heart rate to come down, then circle the foot in the other direction. And then pause here for a half happy baby, letting that knee come outside the rib cage, a 90-ish degree bend in the leg. You can hold anywhere from your foot to your leg or even wrap a strap around it. Beautiful job. Exhale to release your constructive rest. Inhale, bring the opposite leg in and circle that ankle. And then reversing. Exhale to let the knee fall outside the rib cage. Half happy baby. Beautiful job. Exhale as both feet come to the floor. We're going to let both knees fall to the right side as we take a reclined twist. You can keep the legs scattered or you could stack them. You could add pillows or blocks or any props you might want. You could cross at the ankles or the knees if you're sitting in the chair. All of these are great options. If you're on the floor and you want to hook the bottom foot on the top knee, that's always a welcome option as well. But as we exhale, maybe we take our gaze towards the middle or towards the opposite side of our space, twisting along our spine. As we exhale, we'll come back through center and then allow the knees to fall in the opposite direction. And again, maybe you make any of those optional but transitional points from binds to crosses to staggering to props. And then as you're ready, the gaze moves down the neutral line or maybe in the opposite direction. Beautiful. Exhale to release. We're going to end today's class like we started it. We're going to come into our favorite ball shape, whether that's knees towards the torso, one at a time or together, or maybe it's torso towards the knees. Curling chin to chest is always a great way to get into that ball shape, but it's not necessary if it's causing you to strain. We want this to be a more relaxing ball shape. Maybe you rock from side to side or along the spine for just a breath. Then start to settle into stillness in your ball. And now we're going to purposely start to create some tension. We're going to build a wall around our body by squeezing our muscles. We start by squeezing our fingers, squeezing our toes. Maybe we squeeze our calves, squeeze our thighs and glutes, squeeze our abdominal muscles. Let our shoulders start to constrict, our throat tighten up, our jaw gets so tense that we feel like we can't make it any tenser. Maybe even squeezing the eyes and furrowing the brow. We're a little ball of tension that's so tight, it's just waiting to explode. And then with that next exhale, allow it to explode. All those muscles relaxing as you open up into a 5-pointed star, taking up as much space in your space as you can, breaking that wall of tension and allowing yourself to come into your final relaxation pose of choice. Once again, feel free to add pillows, blankets, or blocks, a sweater, or socks. Maybe you use something to cover your eyes or add a little weight to your tummy. Maybe you move to someplace just a little more comfy. But wherever you're at, allow yourself to find a comfortable position, letting your body settle into your version of stillness as we begin to relax on command. Allow your spine to be straight. Gently close your eyes or soften your gaze, allowing the outside world to fade into the background. Begin to notice the rhythm of your breath, how it flows effortlessly in and then out, like waves caressing the shore. Let this moment be a gift to yourself, a space where you can be fully present, feeling the weight of your body supported by the earth beneath you, your breath flowing naturally, easily, and unforced. Taking a deep inhale and then a slow, steady exhale. And with each breath, allowing yourself to arrive more fully present in this moment. Take your deep breath in, feeling the air fill your body. And as you exhale, let your shoulders soften, your jaw unclench, and your hands relax. With each breath out, imagine tension melting away, your body becoming lighter, more at ease, bringing awareness to your heart center, the space at the center of your torso. Maybe you notice a sensation, a warmth, or maybe even a heaviness there. And whatever you feel is perfect. It simply means you're turning in. This is the space in your torso where emotions, memories, and longings reside. Imagine this space as a gentle, glowing light. For some, this light may feel open and expansive. For others, it may feel guarded, as if surrounded by walls built from past hurts, fears, or the need to protect. There's no need to force anything today. Simply notice without judgment any walls that may be there. They have been built with care, with reason. They have kept you safe when you needed them. These walls have been built over time, perhaps, to shield you against pain or hurt and protect yourself. Can you allow yourself to visualize these walls? Really notice their texture, their height. Are they brick, stone, maybe glass? Allow yourself to see them, grateful that they've served a purpose. We take this moment to honor the intention behind these walls, even if they no longer serve you. But today, in this safe space, you are invited to soften. With each inhale, imagine warmth flowing into that heart space. And with each exhale, feel your tension melting, like stones loosening from the wall. As you inhale, imagining your breath filling the spaces inside those walls. And with your exhale, see the walls begin to crack, to soften. Our exhale allows these walls to begin to crumble, not with force, but with ease, as if they were ready to be released. And maybe you begin to see light streaming in through the cracks, a warmth that begins to touch your heart, gently allowing these walls to crumble, knowing that what lies beyond them is love, connection, freedom. Perhaps it's simply a small opening that appears, just enough for a little fresh air, a little light, or for love to flow in and out. As you continue to breathe, maybe you picture the walls crumbling even more, not all at once, but gently, in their time, like ice melting into waters or petals unfurling towards the sun. You are safe. You are held. There is no rush. And as your heart opens, imagining it becoming lighter, freer, what does it feel like to let love and connection move through you? To let joy and connection find their way in? As the walls come down, feel the energy of your heart expanding, imagining a radiant light glowing from within you, a light that is warm, soothing, and endlessly abundant. This light is your essence and your capacity to give and receive connection. Breathe into this openness, feeling a sense of trust in yourself and the world around you. Your heart is free and it is safe. Take a few more deep breaths, nourishing breaths, allowing this openness to settle into your being. Knowing that we can carry this softness with us as we move forward. We know that our hearts are strong, not because of the walls we've built, but because of its capacity to feel, to give, and to receive. Taking the deepest breath of your day so far, feeling your open, radiant heart. And as you exhale, begin to bring your awareness back into your body. Maybe start to add movement by wiggling fingers and toes, noticing the earth supporting you. And maybe fluttering the eyes open when you're ready, carrying with you the sense of openness or peace that you've created today. And then in your own time and in your own way, coming up to an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time.